I'm Taylor Brown. This is How I Did It, the show where we talk to champions about how they achieve their dreams on and off the court. On today's show, we're talking with Cori Coleman. Cori Coleman is a female professional athlete who's played internationally. She's played in Finland, she's played in Morocco, Luxembourg, Germany, and recently played in Egypt, right?
Yes.
So today, Cori just got back from Egypt not too long ago. And, thank you for being on the show. I greatly appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right. So first question, Cori. I know your background. You went to Cleveland State. You had an amazing career. You broke the records there. You were the best 3-point shooter in the top 10, one of the best scorers. And, I've seen you play. You're a winner and you know how to get it done. So my question for you to start, what's your motivation?
My motivation actually just started as a hobby. I found a passion for playing basketball on my block with, my friends. That's how we connected, playing sports. And then the more serious we got, we realized it's a lot of fun having, winning. So, as I'm playing with my friends and, we're enjoying winning, having our great days, I became more mainstream through coaches and players. And that's how me taking basketball became more serious. It really is just a passion for me. And now it's a job and it's amazing.
Got you. Got you. So where are you from? Like, when did you start playing? How old were you? I know you're from New York, but what part?
I'm from Queens, New York. Jamaica, Queens. And I started playing basketball when I was 8. But, my brother didn't let me play until I was good. So he's like, you can't play with us until you're good. No one wants to play with someone who sucks. So I'm just like, okay, like, all right, I'll figure it out. And, as I got better, I started playing with, my brother and our cousins and friends. And some of my main things I'm good at, like in shooting and defense, is from playing in the park. I learned how to shoot without getting blocked, quick release. And I learned that, I don't want to be that mismatch from the court. So I'm just going to continue to, play hard defense. So that's how, everything came into play. Then I met a coach and at the park, and he told me to come play for his team. And that's how I got introduced to organized basketball at the age of 10. Yes. So.
Oh, so have you always been good at shooting threes, even as a kid?
No, not at all. Well, like I said, growing up, everything was ones at the park. Cause I literally before I did organized basketball, it was all street ball, all street ball. And everything was 1s to 11. And it was more so mid-range, whatever I can get that was open. Then I started to realize the further I'm out, the less people will guard me. So yeah.
Got you, got you. All right, so let's fast forward. You started at a young age, got better over time. Like again, you had a crazy college career, and then you wanted to go internationally. Walk me through that. Like, how did you end up in Finland, then Morocco, and all the way down Luxembourg, and now?
Okay, so in my last year in college, I was invited to the Pro Combine during the Final Four in Tampa, and I met my first agent. He's American. He's a really nice guy, and toward my graduation date, as soon as I graduated, I was on the phone on Skype. That's when Skype was a thing. I was on Skype talking to other coaches from other teams overseas, and that's how I became aware with my team in Finland. They've been watching me during the season because they like to recruit in the Midwest, those conferences. And I decided to go there, and from there, after that season, I didn't find a job the first half of the season. It happens.
Yeah.
And I ended up in Morocco. The pay was good. The league was okay. They treated me great there. And then I transitioned back into Europe with a new agent.
Cool, cool. Yeah. So, how was Morocco? Talk to me about that.
Morocco was breathtaking. I think that's basic. I've been to many countries and stuff, but I think that's my favorite place. The food is amazing. The people are so warm and humbling. They made it feel like it wasn't a job there because being a pro athlete has a lot of pressure, and out
Yeah.
there they want you to win, of course, but they have a sense of family there, and they just took care of you, and that was amazing.
Right, right.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Luxembourg. That's where we met.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, So, what about Lux? How is it being an American playing in Luxembourg? Is it easy? Is it hard? I have my opinion, but what's your opinion?
My opinion about playing in Luxembourg. Um, It's mentally tough in a way because, you know, you're a good player. You want to give everything you got, but at the same time, they want you to like bring it down a couple of notches so everyone else can be on the team. And they don't want any LeBrons or Currys or nothing. They just want you to help them win games, but not do it their way. They do it their way. It was challenging at first because it was hard to like adjust to like, I'm a flashy New York player. Besides
Yeah.
like my twos and threes and stuff, like I like to do a little bit of everything, but
Mhm.
you had to be very black and white there.
Mhm.
So, and a lot of politics, that's everywhere. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But one thing I can say about Luxembourg, I feel like it prepares you for the next step, like wherever you go, as far as, like scoring wise, being a team player, leader, all that. I feel like it prepares you. So like after Luxembourg, you went to Germany. How
Yes.
was that? You had a great first year, averaging double digits. Like, yeah, talk to me about that.
Well, I will say Luxembourg did prepare me for Germany. I think, over time as a pro athlete, you start to lose the killer like instinct a little bit. But I mean, after Morocco, I was on kill mode regardless because, I feel like I had a good year my first year, not to be picked up at first. So I had a chip on my shoulder. You know how that goes as an athlete. Like
Yeah.
you just want to go and prove it. But I went back to Luxembourg and it's like every game depended on you to win that game. Like you have to be the one to make the shot, to make the pass, the rebound. So
Mhm.
like I went to Germany knowing that win or lose, that deciding factor, I'm the deciding factor whether or not my team wins or loses. So I think I went into every game like, yo, I have to make these shots. I have to get these steals. I can't get scored on too much. Of course it's a team, it's a team sport, but you're the deciding factor always. And I learned that in Luxembourg for Germany.
For sure, for sure. All right. So one thing about you, Corey, it seems like you could take a program that's like at the bottom or in the middle, and you make them better. Do you think
Yeah.
that's like your niche? Do you think that's your thing, like with your game?
I think it is, because I've been on the winning side of things. Like in high school, I had a really good program, and then going into college, we were young, and I went from winning everything to losing everything. So I know how it feels and what goes on with a winning program, and I know like how you can be down and out when you're losing. So I just want to stay positive. I want to stay the leader that I am, and hopefully, the girls just realize that it's really not fun losing. So I
Yeah.
try to bring that, and that's the first thing I say when I go places. It's not fun to lose.
Yeah.
So definitely.
I got you. I got you. All right. Again, we're here with Cori Coleman, and this is how I did it. All right. So next question, Corey. Egypt. Talk to me about Egypt. How did you end up there? Like, especially during 2020, during the pandemic and everything going on. Like, did this happen before everything went crazy, or when did this happen?
Well, COVID did happen, and it kind of it hurt a lot of us pro athletes. A lot of us just went home and stuff. And there are a lot of teams who are offering, but they're not offering. I'm a 6-year pro. They weren't offering things I can feed my family with. So Egypt presented me with a good job. And I played in an Arabic country before. I've been to Africa. I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be great
Yeah.
experience. So that was like my deciding factor of, going to Egypt for, this upcoming season.
Mm, got you. So I know we talked briefly a little bit on Instagram, but like you don't mind, open a little bit up about it. What happened when you got there, the expectations.
Um, well, from the first day I got there, it just didn't feel right. I mean, no one from the club picked me up from the airport, but they did arrange airport travel, which was, okay, it was great. You know, I got there, besides playing basketball, you do sign other things in your contract like apartment,
Yeah.
food, meals, when you get paid, when you don't get paid, bonuses, that's all plays a part in your contract.
Right.
So I got there. I didn't have an apartment yet because the apartment wasn't ready.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have Wi-Fi in the hotel, and I didn't get my meals for the first 3 weeks I was there. And
Dang.
then after I got my apartment, it wasn't clean. It had insects in there.
Mm.
Still no Wi-Fi. Then a couple days later, the hot water heater worked. So now I'm in Egypt with, no hot water, Wi-Fi, or a clean apartment in a different country. Or my meals. I still wasn't getting my meals yet. So it was pretty tough. It was pretty tough. And there's only one American per team. So it's not like you're going through it on your own, really pretty much. So like
Okay.
you're going through it on your own, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. So were you far away from the other Americans, or were y'all close enough? Where y'all can like hang out or not really?
We were close enough, but so what they did is they wanted to finish the season from the COVID, finish up the season and
Mhm.
then start up the new season. So a lot of the like one team that was like literally around the corner, they were in the championship.
Okay.
And I had a friend that was maybe an hour away and she only was there to finish out the other season. So she was there finishing out. She was in the semis also.
Okay.
I was there to finish the season also, but again, there were issues with my club and they didn't get my papers in time for
Mm.
me to play the playoffs there. So I was just out there for a
Yeah.
month.
So if
Yeah.
you don't mind me asking you, they didn't pay you for the or get you your meals your first 3 weeks. So like, how did you? Do you have like a side hustle? You know, something you do on the side? How are you able to provide for yourself?
Well, during COVID and stuff, I did stay busy, I tried to get out as much as possible. I was in New York, the hardest hit place in the United States.
Yeah.
So, me and my friends was like, hey, let's just DoorDash a little bit. All right, Instacart if we can
Hey,
do.
I DoorDash too. You got to, man. All right,
Yeah,
let you go. Let
but
you
it's
go.
so cool. Like you get out the house. Like it was cool. So I was able to, make some money from that.
Mhm.
Also, like with the money I have made overseas, I've tapped into, not forex trading. No, I'm not doing
Okay.
that. Options trading with
Okay.
Robinhood, and I've been able to make like a good income from that.
Yeah.
I'm really good with reading up on stocks and stuff like that. So I think a major part of the income I was still making over there was from my stocks.
That's dope. So what's the difference in forex and option trading? I'm just interested.
Forex is currencies, and it's a market that's always usually open. And
Okay.
options trading is when you have a contract with for 100, like every contract is per 100 stocks for like a company, and you basically it's not like a betting war, but it's like all right, cool. I have a 35 call. I want this stock to hit $35 per share, and when it does, you profit from that because you invested your money for them to make it up to that number.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
It's good to know. All
Yeah,
right.
I'll give you more information afterwards. Like it's very lucrative if you're good at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to learn more.
Okay, good.
All right. Cool. So again, we're here with Cori Coleman, and this is how I did it. Go on to the next question, Cori. Let's talk about you said you had an American agent the first time, and we both had the same agency. If you don't mind talking a little bit about that transition with going with a different agent, and what happened with Egypt.
Okay, so just to backtrack a little bit, my first agent, we parted ways toward the middle of the fall when I couldn't find a job. He had a lot going on, personal issues, and he just realized that he needs to take a break, which is fine. So we mutually agreed to part ways,
Okay.
and that's when I found our next agent when we both had, and I've had him for 5 seasons.
Hmm.
You know, even I've had good seasons in other places. I was getting frustrated because I'll have a great season, I'll get honors, and I was always like at the same level.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
So I thought Egypt would be like, a good breaking point because they're trying to start it pretty big. They signed a lot of WNBA prospects, a lot of girls who got drafted.
Yeah.
So, oh, this is going to be great for me. I get to play against other WNBA players and, draft these. Not like I haven't before, but,
Yeah.
you're that one American. So you really get to showcase, like, this is what I do and this is why I'm over here.
Right. Right.
So speaking about the agent, he got me there. We both were on the same page, like, hey, like this would be this is COVID right now. This is what they're offering is great for you. These are the players you'll be playing against.
Mhm.
It's a great place to save your money, and also it's a great place to play.
Yeah.
And while I was there, I was having the issues. I mean, he really tried his hardest to to get me everything, but these agents aren't physically there, so
Yeah.
all they have is emails and calls that they can do for you.
Yeah.
And it just got to a point where I was just like, hey, like I've been here for a month and a half
Yeah.
and I wasn't like on them about it, but in your contract, you're supposed to get paid. I don't care if it's a day late or 2 days late, 3 days late. You
Right.
communicate about your salary because that is why we're here from the contract, everything on it.
Yep.
Okay. And I decided that, there was a breach in the contract with the, apartment living situations. And I realized, this is not where I want to be, especially we don't have a coach yet. Coach quit. There were girls, the club, they had a lot of changes going on because of COVID. They're known to be a great club.
Mhm.
but they had a lot of issues with, you know, players and coaches and, you know, budget.
Mhm.
And I just felt like for me personally in my career, I don't think that's something I should have been into at the
Mhm.
moment.
Mhm.
You know, I'm worried about everything else but actually playing basketball. So
Mhm. Mhm.
I voiced to my agent that it would be a good idea that I left.
Mhm.
And I'm back
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, respect, respect. I mean, personally, I'll share. I had to get out of the contract. I had to pay to get out of the contract.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. It was stressful. Stuff I felt like too. I didn't really need to worry about, but I mean that's what happens. Do you think it's just a question I would like to ask? Do you think players need agents? Do you feel like when you build, I guess, your name out there, or if you build your connects, do you feel like at some point you still need an agent? Would you rather be your own agent? I don't know.
So to elaborate on that, I know a lot of players who are fifth, sixth, 7th years and they don't have agents. Even myself now, I'm shopping around for an agent, but I am mostly talking to clubs, previous clubs, and you know,
Mhm.
coaches and trainers, and I'm letting them know like, hey, I'm no longer with this agency. This is what I have for you.
Mhm.
You know, so like, um, it all depends where you are with your career. If there's someone, if you're that one player who's like stuck here, like I feel like, you know, I've been doing really good but I haven't peaked,
Yeah.
then yeah, you might want to have an agent just to be around. But if
Yeah.
you peaked, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it's a business and agents do get 10% of the salary from the club. And
Mhm.
if you're already peaked, I feel like you can get that 10% for yourself in a
Yeah.
salary instead of putting an agent on who makes money off of your dreams. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But you know, you do need someone for the legal aspect, of course, too. But
Mhm.
if you know how contracts work by then, I definitely feel like you can continue playing without an athlete.
I hear you. I hear you. So again, this is Cori Coleman. We're here with How I Did It. Next question, Cori. How did you walk me through like the journey, the fun stuff you were doing in Egypt? Just seeing on Instagram, where the pyramids are, you sliding down. What was that? Like what's that called?
That was called sand surfing, but
Okay.
I looked it up too. They call it sandboarding. I don't know. It's just like snowboarding, but it's on the sand. So I would say sandboarding,
Yeah. That's
but some
cool.
say sand surfing because of waves. You know, it
Right.
depends how you look at it. Um, I joined an expat group on Facebook. So what that is a bunch of internationals who are living in the country so they can connect and you can feel some sense of home, especially when you're feeling lonely. So if anyone who does travel and they're away for a while, I definitely recommend joining a forum group on Facebook, you know, to stay connected, you know, of how to get around and stuff.
Yeah.
And I met a tour guide and everyone was recommending. So I messaged him like, hey, I would like to go to these places. He told us our prices. You know, in those kind of countries, you might get heckled for money.
Yeah.
So for security, you know, language barriers, he was perfect. He took me and another American to the pyramids. No one bothered us. You know, if there were any confusion, he took care of us. That was great.
Yeah.
Great experience. Like it's breathtaking. We stayed in
Yeah.
contact. He then became like the coolest guy ever. He messaged like, "Hey, you might have never heard of it, but it's called the Magic Lake. I would love to take you guys there." But of course, he's a tour guide, so like he took us there as a tour guide. He's very informational, and it was amazing. There's still photos I haven't posted. Like they have the whale museum.
Yeah.
The full is a fully intact whale, like fossil, like bones that
Oh
they found
wow.
out there. Yeah, so they keep some of the bones and skeletons and stuff in the ground. It's really nice there. So
That's what's
that
up.
was definitely something I'm taking from there. It's like, all right, this didn't happen, but you know, who gets to go to a different country during COVID, and who gets to go to Egypt, you know,
Right.
for free
Right.
and just see these things? Like it was great.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to ask you, uh, did you take the COVID test and how many times?
Okay, so let's keep it real here. I only took it once when I was actually sick from Germany. Okay, I got sick after I came back from Germany.
Okay.
And after that, like they said you needed a COVID test on your way home from Europe. That's when everything was going crazy.
Mhm.
No one did a COVID test. They just checked our temperature, gave us a piece of paper saying that we needed to quarantine.
Okay.
Nobody checked up on us on quarantine. If you wanted to quarantine, like I quarantined myself because I did get sick, so I
Okay.
definitely quarantined. But for Egypt, they said you also needed a COVID test in order to board the plane.
Right.
Nobody checked to see if they had a COVID test. I know some people did have it just in case,
Yeah.
but you didn't need it. I wasn't told I needed it. Got
Okay.
on a plane, got there, didn't need a COVID test still. No one check your temperature off a plane. Again, they just gave you a piece of paper telling you to quarantine.
Okay.
But for our basketball purposes, they had me in the gym the next day with a mask on. That was all.
Okay.
So I've only took it once when it came to basketball, and I've only took it because I was sick.
Right. Right. Did it
So
hurt down your nose?
uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. It's
Yeah.
very uncomfortable. I have to take one in a couple days. My best friend just had a baby, so I have to take the test in order to be around it.
Oh wow, man.
Yes, I
Yeah,
love it.
that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
All right. So next question. What would you do differently? Like just going back overseas. Next time. What would you do differently?
Honestly, I would go with my gut. Like you'll have agents and coaches pressuring you to sign a contract for their benefit and gain. Not it's the business, nothing personal against anyone.
Yeah.
But I would have waited. I usually sign really early, like, end of April, May. And if I would have waited, I would have had those deals that I wanted. Especially when I speak to teams now, they're like, hey, we wanted you, but it was too late.
Yeah.
So I think I would have been waited my options out more. I would have did more research
Mm-hmm.
on the club and what their goal is, because you'll have teams in the same league who just want to stay in the league.
Yeah.
You have teams who want to make the playoffs and win it. So you definitely something, if you're a winner, you want to take that into account. Like, I'm on a team to win and not just stay in the league. So
Yeah.
yeah, those are things I would have done differently. And yeah, I would have traveled a little bit more, but you know how it is.
Yeah.
You practice and the day off, you want to just like relax. But you
Yeah.
look back at it, it's like I could have seen these places if I would have got out of bed on my off day. But
Right.
again, in those moments, you are tired from practice because at the end of the day, it is a job.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And you were playing in Germany, so y'all had like 2 days and stuff like that, right? So it was
You're
like
doing it off?
2 days, like two workouts in the
Oh
morning.
yes, yes. Two
Yeah.
practices a day, 2 hours, depending on what the coach wanted to do. It'll be the full team practices or a shooting practice and a team practice, and then we have sponsor events in between. So
Yeah.
it was,
All that.
yeah, it was crazy
Yeah.
madness. Yeah,
Yeah. You busy.
yeah.
All right. Again, we're here with Cori Coleman, and this is how I did it. Cori, we got a few more questions left.
Okay.
All right. So you mentioned a little bit about your game. Like, how would you describe your game overall? Just for the next coach, the next teammates, the next place you're going to be. How would you describe your game?
I would describe my game as like the hustle player, but I'm like, how there's Batman and Robin, just to be funny. I'm like more like Robin on crack. I don't ever think I'm like a Batman, but Robin's gonna get the job done. Okay.
Right. Right.
I like I would say like my strong points would be defense and shooting. I am an undersized too.
Hmm.
So I have to want it a little bit more than others sometimes.
Hmm.
Gotta hustle, dive for the ball. I gotta go extra hard for the rebound. I
Yeah.
gotta rebound, but definitely shooting and just being a hustle player, like just giving that energy for everybody else, definitely, and being vocal. You
Right.
know, yeah.
Right. So how do you get those rebounds, Corey? 'Cause I remember we played against each other at one time. You always get get a lot of rebounds. Like walk me through it. What's the process?
Um, Honestly, like it's all about who wants it more. I went to like going okay, so like just to explain, going to seminars and listening to things like this are very informational. And I went to a Bill Russell camp. I know he's a post player. He
Yeah.
had a bunch. I was probably the only guard in there, and he said something that stuck with me. He's just like, rebounds aren't about the size; it's about who wants it more. Just like defense is all about anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
So there could be a 6'5", post player down there expecting to get the ball, but then if you want it more, you'll have it. So that's just a mentality for me. And I have really long arms, so I think that helps too. I guess be like out there with it. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
True. True.
Yeah.
All right. So how long do you see yourself doing this, Corey? Like till you're 40? I don't know. How long?
Um, Early 30s for sure. I want to go out like not like MJ because I'm not MJ, but I want to go out my prime. I don't want to go down broken down. I've been blessed not to be injured throughout. Not serious injuries throughout my
Yeah.
whole career, and I don't want it to be the deciding factor to why I retire. I just want to go at my peak, have a great season, you know,
Hmm.
take the most out of it, and then on my own terms, not on the agent's term or
Mm-hmm.
on a term where I can't find a job. Like I'm going to find that job. I'm going to be able to do what I do. I'm going to say, hey, this is my last year. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
want to do for sure. Whether I'm 29, 30, 31, you know, I have my calling eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear that. I respect that. All right, so I know how it is with the game, waiting for the opportunity or whatever. Like, really don't have an answer, but if you could kind of give a brief idea of what's next for you, do you want to go back to Europe? Or like, when, what's your timeline like?
Expectations and speaking into existence. I'm hoping to go over the Christmas break. There's some teams that, opted out and bringing on Americans for the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do switch out their Americans.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, some people get injured.
yeah,
So I'm definitely looking to go back to Europe, by Christmas. And if not, I'm just going to be ready regardless. So, that is wishful thinking. I'm hoping to be signed with a new agent or just to have an agent I'm working with,
right.
and then, yeah, that's definitely the goal right now.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Cori, that's all the time we have today.
Okay.
Will you be back on the show? We do another one?
Yes, of course.
All
Yes.
right, cool,
Good.
cool. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Yes,
Uh,
thank you for having me.
Yeah, this has been awesome. It's been awesome. Again, I'm Taylor Brown, and this is how I did it. You can reach Cori on Instagram. What's your handle, Cori? It's a Clovely_15.
Yes.
All
CeeLo
right. All
underscore.
right, cool. You can reach her out then. And yeah, so thank you again, and see you next time.